Brought to you by the Give Something Back Foundation.
I'm Steve Adubato. It is my pleasure to welcome into our studio Michellene Davis, President-elect, Executive Women of New Jersey, and also Executive Vice President and Chief Corporate Affairs Officer, RWJBarnabas Health. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Good to see you.
We just did a terrific panel on Caucus, New Jersey, with 4 women leaders in the world of business. Talk about your organization, first of all, the Executive Women of New Jersey. What is it? What work or research did they do about this issue of women in New Jersey, women in business, and why it's so important?
Sure thing. Executive Women of New Jersey is the state's premier organization of the very most senior individuals within their corporations across the state of New Jersey, across different siloed industries.
So it's so interesting. The research that was done showed that, and by the way, other studies across the nation have shown this as well, there just are not enough women in leadership positions. Easy statement to back up, right?
Absolutely. Here's the interesting aspect of it, right? There are not enough women in the C-suites of these corporations across the country and indeed across the world, but there are very many women in leadership positions, and then more than that, there are a great deal of women who are qualified to occupy the senior level executive leadership position. I say it in that manner, Steve, because I think that oftentimes individuals do not consider certain aspects within an organization as a leadership position when in fact it indeed is. And one of the things that we found with our Executive Women of New Jersey Seat at the Table report is
it's called a seat at the table.
A seat at the table, right?
By the way, log on, get more information so you can actually read the report. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that we realize is the fact that as we begin to measure really very closely just the status of women in the C-suites in these organizations and on boards across the state of New Jersey, we're seeing that the needle has moved very, very little.
You know, the other thing is, I know there's a pledge that the Executive Women of New Jersey have talked about is it to get corporations to commit to greater diversity and gender diversity? Is that what it is?
It is both to encourage them and to create some transparency and accountability. The pledge was born out of discussions around a seat at the table when Barry Ostrowski, who indeed is the CEO of RWJBarnabas Health, who participated in the report, began to talk a little bit more about what he could do as a sitting CEO of indeed not just one of the largest healthcare systems in the state of New Jersey, but the top 15th in the country.
And the pledge says? And
the pledge says that that the men who are currently occupying the seats, that they have to be the ones who are in the room, who as they begin to look around to discuss the topic, they have to ask the question, do we have everyone in this room who needs to be here on this topic? And why are there no women here? They have to be the ones who literally say, every time there's an opportunity for a particular institutional project or initiative, that they want to ensure that there's a woman candidate who is considered, that for each promotional opportunity, that they do not consider a slate that does not have a woman among them.
You know, the other part of this, Michellene, that's fascinating to me, and it gets complex, but important to talk about. There's women in leadership positions. There's lack of women in leadership positions. There's research, your study showed this at the seat at the table, that corporations do better, as we talked about in our roundtable with women leaders, like you're one of 4, or corporations do better, organizations do better. But women of color versus white women, different issues?
There are some similarities, but there are also some differences. One of the interesting things that we sought to do at first when we were talking about taking on the challenge of actually producing the report the very first year was whether or not we should also look at both gender and ethnic diversity. One of the things that we found was
ethnic and racial.
Ethnic and racial. And one of the things that we found was the fact that the numbers of women in senior leadership positions within these corporations was so slight, that the numbers of women of color was so much smaller, that we wanted to start out and then hopefully be able to have a larger pool to then consider.
You know, I talked to you a little bit about this when you were with us in the roundtable, but I want to delve into this a little bit more. Because you've always, you've been the first, you've been the only, and sometimes people think, oh, what an honor. Oh my God, isn't that great? Broke the ceiling. She was the first. You were a treasurer in the state of New Jersey. You held other top positions in the state, top advisors to governors in the past, and hold one of the highest ranking positions at RWJBarnabas Health. but being the first / the only in certain cases. Play that out for us.
It comes
Not a simple question, I know.
It is not a simple question, Steve, but one that is worthy nonetheless. It comes with a great deal of responsibility. I recognize the fact that every single time there was an opportunity where I walked through that threshold, that I brought an entire community with me, a community both based on my demographic and a community full of women. I brought with me the future generation of women leaders, and that's a lot of responsibility.
Do you really, I mean, it's hard enough to do a good job. It's hard enough just to perform in a high-pressured situation with a lot at stake in a certain corporate environment, nonprofit environment, whatever the environment is. But you're saying, I mean, again, we should let folks know because Michellene and I have known each other a long time, and she has been so supportive and one of the honorees of our Stand and Deliver Leadership Development Program. She was a Dr. Martin Luther King Leadership Awardee, and we talked about these things offline as well. You're saying that you are you have a responsibility not just to do well in your job, but to do what else?
Oh.
For whom?
To do well in my job enough that the next time there is an opening, the next time that there is an opportunity to fill a seat, that there is the confidence that another individual, another woman should be welcome to the table, because this one woman, once she got in, she did so much to bring value to the bottom line. She did so much to add diversity of thought to the discussion around the board table, that it's been a welcome change, welcome enough that the door remains open for so many other women to walk through.
And you have actively sought out, and you have been sought. You've sought to mentor, and you have sought to be a mentor.
Absolutely.
To be mentor, I mean, right? Am I making this?
Oh, absolutely. I consider it is what we are called to do, right? The rent that we are to pay for our time on this earth is that of service. And so incredibly important to pay it forward. But as we are working in these corporations, in these businesses, at the helm of these nonprofit organizations, the truth of the matter is that we have to prepare both the organization and the next generation of leader. And so, yes, mentor is incredibly important.
So the pledge is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Ostrowski talked about it. A year from now, executive women in New Jersey, you are not the president, you become the president.
I become the president next January.
Okay. When that time comes, could you actually, I know this is a lot of pressure to put this on you, but you've dealt with it before. Can you actually say, this is something substantive I feel that we should have accomplished by that time? Is there something tangible? Is it a numbers game? Is it a percentage thing? What is it?
So January 2017 is right around the corner.
Yeah, right?
So what do we want to have accomplished by that time? Well, I will tell you this. I will be able to say that we kept the conversation going, that we elevated the momentum, and that as a result of that, not only do we have more women who are swelling our membership roll, but quite frankly, we have more companies who are standing up, raising their hand, companies like Investors Bank, companies like New Jersey Resources. I mean, just an incredible thing for these companies to establish within their own, within their own institutions, initiatives to empower and progress women throughout their ranks. Initiatives in order to ensure that women understand that they aren't just welcome to be employees, they are welcome to lead. That we will have so many more companies who are lining up on that business honor roll because we have made this the theme of the day.
And it's interesting, you mentioned those two organizations. The CEOs of those organizations, Bernie Flynn and Larry Downs, two friends of ours, they are committed to trying to do better. We have a long way to go, don't we?
We do, but we've got great partners.
Michellene Davis, President-elect, Executive Women of New Jersey, and also Executive Vice President and Chief Corporate Affairs Officer at a little organization called RWJBarnabas Health. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mayor Albert Kelly. The Give Something Back Foundation recently awarded 23 ninth graders at Bridgeton High School with full college scholarships. These financially challenged young people could have otherwise never afforded college. By mentoring these students through high school and providing full college scholarships, the Give Something Back Foundation has removed the barriers that prevent them from earning diplomas, helping to break the cycle of poverty. This gift transforms lives, and it transforms our community.
Also brought to you by NJM, the Russell Berry Foundation, and by the Northward Center.